Hello and welcome back to our very last installment of our Great by Choice video presentation. Today we will be discussing Bill Collins' concept of SMAC and the return on risk. First, let's figure out what the acronym SMAC really means. SMAC, although it sounds like simple automatopoeia, stands for specific, methodical, and consistent. A SMAC recipe, by definition, is, quote, a set of durable operating practices that create a replicable and consistent success formula, end quote. And it is uniquely different from strategies, culture, core values, purposes, and tactics in that it is a set of practices. Furthermore, SMAC recipes include practices that should not be done since not to-dos can be just as informative and directive as to-dos. But, simply put, when SMAC is used by a company, it provides information on exactly what to do and precisely how to do it. Such a recipe is critical to have in any environment, but especially in uncertain, fast-changing, and unforgiving environments, as is depicted in our picture example. And as you might have guessed, since this is our last presentation after all, and you are now well informed on how companies are great by choice, SMAC can directly contribute to 10x success. How, you ask? Well, because a company that develops a SMAC recipe, adheres to it, and amends it only rarely, when warranted, will simultaneously be using the three core behaviors of 10x success. Empirical creativity will be used when developing and evolving the SMAC recipe. Fanatic discipline will be used for sticking to the recipe. And productive paranoia will be used to sense necessary changes to the SMAC recipe. We can apply these concepts to the example of Southwest Airlines that Bill Collins comments on in his writing. Southwest's CEO put together a list of 10 points to his SMAC recipe, and the content of that list changed only about 20% in a quarter of a century. This fact alone demonstrates the fanatic discipline that the company had in abiding by the recipe, the productive paranoia that is implied by the 20% of changes which occurred in small and timely steps, and the empirical creativity needed to make the right changes. But, as much as we love Southwest Airlines, no company is more dear to all of our hearts than our very own IBC. So, let's examine how the IBC has been using SMAC principles ever since the birth of IBC 2015. One of the very first things we did as a company was creating our mission statement. And even though we were clueless at the time as to what SMAC principles were, we nonetheless built parts of a SMAC recipe when we wrote our mission statement. Specifically, as drawn out of that mission statement, there are two big SMAC principles that we focused on during the past semester. Bringing products and services to the Cedarville community at a reasonable price while creating high value, and developing a brand for the IBC so people actually know who we are and what we stand for. To exemplify the reasonable price and high value, we can look to the IBC's Moonlight Madness t-shirts. The t-shirts had a cost of only $4.50 per unit, so we were able to set the retail price at a low amount of $8. That retail price would be a good deal for an ordinary t-shirt, but our t-shirts were certainly not ordinary. It was a glow-in-the-dark t-shirt, and it also had an exceptional design. Similarly, the Bluetooth beanies had a cost of $18, yet because of our frugality with zero marketing expenses, we were still able to offer the high-quality, innovative beanies at a price of only $26, which is cheaper than Amazon's price of $29.99 plus shipping and tax. And to exemplify the branding developed for IBC, we can look again to the Moonlight Madness's t-shirts as one of many examples. Over 600 of the shirts were sold on campus, and each of them has the IBC logo on the back. Therefore, 600 people are not only personally learning about the IBC upon their purchase of their shirt, but 600 people now walk around Cedarville with our brand on them, which significantly helps us in our brand recognition. However, as a student-run business, the IBC likely could have implemented many more SMAC principles, one of which would be more emphasis on our personal excitement and enthusiasm of our products and services. Put more clearly, Glow Golf and FIFA were not only were not the show-stopping events that all of Cedarville's student body scrambled to be part of, which, although hyperbole, is closer to its description of what we anticipated than what actually happened. This underachievement is due largely to our lack of enthusiasm for the value IBC was providing customers right at the start of sales in October. Had we realized the lack of sales at the beginning of the week of sign-ups for Glow Golf was caused by our lack of enthusiasm, we could have amended our SMAC recipe through productive paranoia's sensing of necessary changes to our SMAC. Next, we will transition to our examination of luck, as detailed in the words of Bill Collins. Collins defines a luck event as, quote, one that meets three tests. 1. Some significant aspect of the event occurs largely or entirely independent of the actions of the key actors in the enterprise. 2. The event has a potentially significant consequence, good or bad. And 3. The event has some element of unpredictability. Of course, from a biblical standpoint, we know that luck does not exist, as God is sovereign over everything. Proverbs 16:33 reminds us that even the rolling of dice or the casting of a lot is not beyond his control. As it says, the lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. But with that understanding, we will continue with Bill Collins' analogy for the sake of the presentation. For an example of luck, as defined by Collins, what looked like a certain victory for Seattle in Super Bowl 49 turned out into being an unlucky event when the Patriots intercepted the ball at the goal line with only 27 seconds left in the game. So, to continue the analysis of luck, we can look to one of the IBC's recent examples of a, quote, luck event. The product team set its sales dates based on when our inventory would be available to us from our suppliers. And last Friday, which was the end of our first week of sales, just so happened to be a CU Friday. On that day alone, we ended up selling 36 Bluetooth beanies and 34 2.0 mugs. We definitely capitalized on the luck event, as we even sold several of our beanies we intended to keep for display purposes to several prospective students who stopped by the table. And, unsurprisingly, that CU Friday was one of our biggest sale days to date. So, in conclusion, the IBC has done its best to make full use of SMAC, and we also have capitalized on the luck events that have come at us, which we really know to be the Lord's sovereign provision. And at large, IBC 2015 is arguably a 10x Great by Choice company because of all the hard work which we have contributed to the company this semester, and also because we have been able to take the principles we have learned from books like Great by Choice and apply them to our efforts.